Live from the virtual Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama. Welcome, sim racing fans, to the Sim Races for Mental Health All-Star Event, live here on ApexRacingTV. Joshua Lee joining you in the broadcast booth, along with Tyler Maxson, who's also controlling our overlays. And it is time to get the action started here from Talladega. Let's take a look at your starting grid. Tony Edmondson will lead the field to the green flag in that number 43 car. Tyler Fode on the outside. Blake Trewick in third. Jalen Battle in fourth. Tyler Dixon will round out your top five with Alan Wilson, Presley Sora, Joe McAddery, Chris Reese, and rounding out your top 10 is Mitchell Adams. And then in 11th, it's JD Bluntman, 12th, Johnny Brugg, 13th, Rocky Hartpence, 14th, Nathan Rabideau, 15th, Alexander Cognac, 16th, Tom Bourne, 17th, Benjamin Fannings, 18th, Nicholas Reese, 19th, Steve Rada. Rounding out your top 20 is Nathan Armstrong. In 21st, it's Steven Sims, 22nd, Louis Calderon, 23rd, Jamie Dobbs, 24th, Wesley Fuller, and rounding out your field, Lawrence Saunessy is the last car to take time. In 26th, 27th, Kevin Kettleman, 28th, Shane Lake, 29th, Travis Oliver, 30th, it's Adam Sweet, 31st, Ilan Gaster, 32nd, Danny Banfield, 33rd, Killian Boosin, 34th, Paul Wilson, and rounding out your 35th spots is Jody Banfield, and down the rest of the order. And that is all of the cars. They are rolling off. Tyler, we're here at Talladega Superspeedway, an historic track in NASCAR, and of course on the iRacing.com sim with this new Cup car package. What are you expecting from this race?
Yeah, it should be an amazing race here. We do apologize for getting the YouTube event started just a little bit late. We were having a little bit of troubles actually getting our original event up and going, but we are here nonetheless for the start of the Talladega. We have 54 laps on offer for you here tonight, and we have quite a large field, 30 drivers actually taking to the track here on the start. So they're all going to make their attempt at trying to win here in Talladega. But this is one of those tracks where strategy and car placement is just oh so important.
It is very important, especially with 54 laps, sort of on the longer side here at Talladega. So it is going to be important for these drivers to make sure they are in the right position at the right time to win the race. And sometimes leading the race on the final lap means you are not going to be leading at the end of it, as the field will make their way through turns 3 and 4. Right past that Sunoco spotter stand. Something unique about the Talladega Superspeedway is that when this track was built France wanted to sell more seats down by turn number 1. This solution put the start-finish line past the tri-oval, so they will go all the way down from the entrance of pit road, past the exit of pit road to the start-finish line and take the green flag. The pace car in down to the safety of pit lane as the field will make their way through the tri-oval 2 by 2 all the way back. They might end up 3 by 3 here in just a few moments. Tony Edmondson will lead the field to the green flag. There it is. Green, green, green. We're underway here at Talladega.
And it looks to be a clean start thus far. Nobody initially having any sort of wrecks. They're still 2 by 2. They are 3 wide in the further back, but everybody getting away clean. You can see a few drivers already darting around.
The 83 moved down to the bottom lane, blinking a little bit, but it seems like he got that figured out coming off at turn number 2. Inside line already gaining a lot of momentum. Majority of cars down there. The outside line looking a little bit straggled as they head down to 3.
And they head into turns 3 and 4. Like you said, that bottom line, really the line that's picking up the traction thus far in this event. And it looks to be, yeah, I mean, just like you said, the bottom line is really the only line that's moving, but here comes the top line. It's headed by Tyler Forte in the 40 car, and he's helped by Jalen Battle in the 16. They're starting to get a run here on the top 2.
End of lap 1, and it looks like that outside line has more takers in the back of the field. We saw in the back half of this pack a lot of them jumping up to that outside line, but here at the front it is all inside lane, and still leading the way it's Tony Edmondson in the 56 of Blake Trewick in second, trying to clear the 40, but Jalen Battle with a huge shove to the back end of that Ford Fusion in the 40 car.
A huge shove here. Let's ride on board with a 16 as he works his way through turns 3 and 4 here. We're already on lap number 2 of 54. We have a long way to go here, and these guys need to remember, keeping it clean, that is the biggest advantage that you will have in the early goings of this race.
Yeah, and they are 2 by 2 now. That outside line having a little bit more takers now as they make their way into lap 3. Tyler Foddy on the outside line. He is side by side with the 43, the 16, trying to get that nose a little bit of air. If you suck up to the back of a car for a while, that engine will start to cook. It'll start to get a little bit too hot for its liking. So everybody looking at their dashes, looking at their water temp and oil temp. If it gets too hot, it will show red, and then they're going to have to back off of the car in front of them and make sure they can clean off that engine. But right now, 2 by 2, majority of the way here in the front of this pack.
Yeah, pretty much 2 by 2 all the way back. Nobody really making any sort of major moves thus far. I haven't seen anybody really shoot up the order. Steven Sims, your biggest mover thus far, up 7 spots. He's now up to 14th after starting 21st. Make that 13th now, but that could easily change in a second.
That 45 car dicing its way up to the field, but right now, Talladega looking a lot like I-95 on rush hour. 2 by 2 all the way back. Everybody bumper to bumper. Only a couple of them straggling, and it seems like that outside line has a couple of gaps in it that are not suited for some plate racing. But they are keeping up, and they are pretty even with the inside line as they head into turn number 3. One car trying to make it 3 wide.
Yeah, one car in the back there trying to make it 3 wide. Thinks better of it. That was definitely probably the smarter case. You can see some lap traffic just ahead of him. That's the driver that's in 31st. That's Steve Rada. So they're going to be catching him here pretty soon. We got one car down in the apron.
One car in the grass. He was able to save it. That's the 49 car of Mitchell Adams. He'll try and get up on the racetrack, but he is definitely going to lose the draft as one car stuck up by the wall. That's the 54.
Yeah, the 54 car stuck up at the wall, and he's losing a lot of spots, but he's able to cut back in line. But some of these drivers may be doing this on purpose here just to try to get themselves in better position. They may not like exactly where they're at, or they're trying to get with teammates. I've seen that happen several times where drivers will actually drop from the front to the back to try to hook up with their teammates and move forward.
Joe McAddery in the 12 dropping back along with that 15 of Steve Rada. He was the lap car that this pack passed just a moment ago. As we are making our way onto lap number 6 now, they'll make their way past the start-finish line. Tony Edmondson continues to lead, but back further in this pack, they are getting a little dicey. But the outside line now seems to be the more formed line. Let's see if they can make it past the inside.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make it by here, but that's such a tough one to do because most of the time the driver on the top won't actually stay there. He'll pull to the bottom, and that'll pretty much destroy the entire momentum that top line would have had, and that's pretty much what that top line needs right now. They need to all be formed up, but we got 3 wide here for the lead.
3 wide, right past the lead. Seems like about 4th place now, but the 16 of Jalen Battle, no help up by the wall. He is going to fall like a rock on the outside of this pack as through the tri-oval. A couple guys getting a little squirrely. A couple bumps down in that tri-oval makes for some upset race cars, but everyone able to hold it as we on to lap number 7. The 16 of Jalen Battle falling right to the back, but Tyler Foddy in the 40 car still holding his own on that outside line. He leads that line with the number 90 of Chris Reese right behind.
And the 90 of Reese is pushing that 40 Ford Mustang, and he will go to the race lead momentarily there. Will the 40 car, he'll hold on to it, but the outside line not having the momentum to keep it through the corner. But these guys are really hooked up here on the top side, and you can see there's one car trying to make it 3 wide and see if they can't go to the front.
They tried it, did not go well, but now the 3 car of Lawrence Shaughnessy going to head up there. He has help from Jalen Battle, and now more cars hopping up there. We've got a definitive outside line now as they try and take it 3 wide with the 42, but now the 93 pulling back down, back up to the outside.
So they are trying to make it 3 wide here. Yes, we do. We got 3 wide down the back straightaway at Talladega. Down into turns 3 and 4 here for the 8th time in this event. We're not even 10 laps into, these guys already want to take it 3 wide, but they're doing it perfectly here.
We've seen this in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. couple weeks ago at Daytona, but now we're seeing it here at Talladega, a much wider racetrack, a lot more room to go 3 wide. You can even go 4 wide. We've seen it before at this racetrack, but right now 3x3 up here at the front of the pack, leading that top line up by the wall is the 93 of Nason Rabideau. And the middle line gonna get a little bit of a shove now. The 40, Tyler Fode fully out to the lead. He'll clear the inside and the outside lines.
And we got 3 drivers down on the apron. They won't be any effect though, and they are still 3 wide here as we work our way into 3 and 4 again. But it's Tyler Fode in the 40 car. He is your new race leader here. Chris Reeses goes to second place with him, and now that outside line forms up again. Now it's headed by the 43 of Tony Edmondson.
And the 42 tried to pull down to the inside line, thought different of it. On the back end of the 43, gets a little bit loose, but the 43 able to hold it as now the field settles back to 2x2. The outside line with more cars getting a little bit of a shove. 43 out to the front by just a hair, as on the outside line, that's the 25 dropping on the wall. But the 43 trying to take the lead up on the outside line now in the middle lane here at Talladega, not able to get it. They'll be side by side, clearing just for a moment, not going to pull down.
Yeah, they do stay in line there. You can see one of the cars actually ducking out of line. I believe that was the 42. No, sorry, that was the 45 of Steven Sims, who ducked out of line. Able to get back in line, though, with the 42. They were 4 wide for a second. We still are 4 wide, just behind them. We're back to 3 wide, though. But, wow, we're having some nice racing here at Talladega.
Up by the wall, not the best line, the 42 in the wall along with the 45. They'll lose a little bit of momentum, able to keep it together, not spinning out and wrecking some other cars with them. But in the lead, it's still that 40 car. Chris Reese all over the back bumper in the 90. But on the outside line, it's Tony Edmondson pushing the 4 car of Johnny Brugg. It's the first time we've seen the 4 car in contention for the lead today.
And the 4 car now in contention for it. He's the second car back in that outside line, trying to work here with Chris Reese to take him to the lead here. He's not able to get to the bumper, though, in the 90. It just doesn't look like the 4's really able to push the 90 all that well. But the bottom line, they're really just shoving away.
Tyler Fode still on that inside line, now has the 16 of Jalen Battle behind him. Chris Reese hops up to the outside line to lead for a little bit. Back further in the pack, we've got some straggling of 3 wide, but not that much, just a couple of cars in the middle there. And we're seeing these 2 packs start to pull away from each other. This lead pack, 6 cars on the inside line, 3 on the outside, pulling away slightly from that back pack of stragglers. But Tyler Fode leads the way, battle to the outside. The 16 looking for the lead with help from the 36.
Yeah, the 16 trying to go to the race lead here into turn 1 and 2, and he will do it. The 56 will go with them, and it's now Fode back into 3rd position. Now we have another challenger here on the outside line. That'll be the 3 of Lawrence on the outside line, trying to make that one work, and he's going to have help from the 90.
13 laps in of 54, still no cautions in this race. We've gotten a little dicey, but nobody going around just yet. And that inside line breaking apart a little bit, but that outside line looking much like how a practice would look here at Talladega. Very spaced out. We'll see if they can get it a little bit more formed up and make a run at this inside line. But all the heavy hitters down on the inside. The 40 looked to the outside and decided against it, back to the inside.
Yeah, they're all staying pretty much in line here. That outside line has gotten their problems worked out. They are now going to be a contender here. And you can see the 40 car will jump up there with the 56, and they will go to the race lead. So Blake Trowick to the race lead for the first time tonight. But look at the 3 car here. He's coming on strong. The 40 goes for the block, not able to get there. The 3 car now with help from the 90. He'll try to make a run at the race lead.
The 40 tried to get down to the inside line. The 16 just had a nose there. came back up. The 16 led him into the inside line, so now he is on the back bumper of Blake Trawick for the race lead, but not going to make a pass.
The 90 gets turned! The 90 gets, that's the big one!
The big one, lap 15, everybody around in the back of the pack, the 90, the 710, the 43-year pole sitter involved, the 45, 95, and more involved in turn 2.
Let's get another look at that one to see exactly what happened. So we'll go back just a little bit more here. The 90, I believe, is going to get turned by the 43 car, which is going to be huge. Oh, just barely gets tapped. And that was all it took. That caused the big one here at Talladega. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm saying almost 10 cars involved in that wreck. A big, huge wreck here at the end of lap 15.
A couple cars were able to make it through that, but not many. Trawick still your race leader. Tyler Fody in second. Jalen Battle in third. Lawrence Shaughnessy in fourth. Running our top 5 is Nathan Rabudo. Actually, scratch that. Nicholas Reese will be scored in the 5th spot right now. But that wreck definitely is going to calm down this field. Nowhere even near halfway through this race just yet. So everybody going to calm down now. And you can see the 90 with some huge steering issues up in the front. That is going to make him make his way into pit road. And speaking of pit road, how many pit stops do you think we're going to have here? They will need to pit probably at least once for fuel, but I don't know if they're really going to go for tires. Tyler, do you think anybody's going to make it down pit road here?
I'm saying we're at least going to get a couple of people down pit road because I believe we're nearly there to the fuel window here for these guys at Talladega, depending on where they are in traffic, depending on how much fuel they're able to save behind other cars. So we're pretty much right on the edge of the window. I wouldn't see why we wouldn't at least see maybe the top 10 coming down to pit road, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see here. The only driver that looks to be staying out is the 16. No, he is actually going to dive down to pit road as well. So all the drivers here, at least in the top 10, are all going to come down pit road, and it'll be a race off pit road to see who's going to start on the pole here come the restart.
And that is so important. Everybody wants good track position here, and everybody making their way down pit lane. The 56 will head into that pit stall. The pit crew will go to work. The 40 almost sliding through his box. He'll stop right on that pit marker. And is the 56 going fuel only? The 90 did as well. The 90's out. The 56 is out. Never saw the jack go up. I think that was fuel only for Trawick, Battle, and Rabudo.
So it looks to me the 3 car was able to get out first. Then it's Blake Trawick and Jalen Battle. So those are going to be your top 3 as they head off of pit road there. Actually, sorry, the 3 car never actually came down on pit road. So the drivers who came on pit road was the 56, the 16, and pretty much everyone back from there. But yeah, it was the 56 who was able to beat everybody off of pit road there that time and hold on to his race lead.
Fresh tires here at Talladega, not usually helping you that much, but could it possibly help with the 3 wide that we've been seeing? We know car handling is very important, especially in close quarters. Those fresh tires could help a little bit with that, but I think it's going to be a fuel mileage race from there.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to be a fuel mileage race. I don't really think the tires are going to make that much of a difference. Now, if we get a late race restart, the drivers who did take fresh tires, that is going to help them. I mean, getting off the line is definitely a challenge on really old tires. Now, in my opinion, I would have just taken the extra couple of tenths of a second, really, that I think it would have taken to put on some fresh tires on it. But hey, what do I know? I'm not the driver behind the wheel. So we wait on the iRacing pace car to make its way around. We still have lights on the pace car here, so we will at least be going one more lap, and then we'll try to see when we will go back green. I would assume that we're going to get one to go to green this time by. We'll know if the lap drivers do indeed take their wave around. And you can see here as we head through the tri-oval now, we are all pacing and waiting to go. So the drivers who did not make it through that instant, the 90 of Chris Rees, the 710 of JD Bluntman, the 95 of Benjamin Fanning, the 25 of Jody Banfield, the 5 of Danny Banfield, and Adam Sweet in the 998. All of those drivers did not make it through. And a few more drivers that are down on pit road or just now coming off of pit road. That would be the 12, the 71, the 54, the 15, the 11, and the 6. So all of them having some sort of issues that brought them down onto pit road. So we already had the big one here on lap number 15. Now it's about waiting and hoping that we don't have another big one here tonight.
Yeah, we are 2 laps to the green flag now, going back racing. The 3-car out in front. He stayed out on that last pit stop. So it'll be very interesting to see how he does on this restart with a lot of cars on fresh tires behind him. But the 56 out first, took fuel only on that last stop. So he might be good to the end, especially if we get a couple more cautions. He might be able to stretch that tank of gas all the way to the end. But they'll be coming around, and we'll be going back to racing onto lap number 20 out of 54. Lawrence Shaughnessy leads the way with Blake Trawick in second, Jalen Battle third, Nathan Rabideau fourth, Tyler Fode rounds out your top 5, Nicholas Reese in 6th, Johnny Brugg in 7th, Mitchell Adams in 8th, Kevin Kettleman in 9th, and rounding out your top 10, it is Presley Sora here in the Sim Racers for Mental Health All-Star Event here at the Talladega Superspeedway.
And you can see there's still, like you said, we will do 2 more laps. That included this one, so we will be going to 1 lap to go here until we get this race back underway. You'll have the 3 cars starting off on the pole position here. He will have worn tires, but so will the 56 and 16. I'm not sure that maybe the 90 and the 40 cars aren't going to get incredible jumps here on this restart. Maybe try to hook up together if they can get into a singular line and try and really get away, or at least get by these guys, because they've got the fresher tires. Even though we're only 18 laps in, it does make a slight difference on the restarts.
The thing now that I think we're going to have to watch for is how cautious are these drivers going to be now. They've already seen about at least a little over a quarter of their field get wiped out in 1 wreck. So how eager are they going to be to take 3 wide now? We might see some cautious racing here towards the end of this race. But I think they're going to be a little bit more cautious now and then ramp up the racing towards the end of this 54-lap race, because they want to just survive to finish rather than race too early and get taken out like a lot of cars just did to bring out this last caution.
Yeah, and that is really the biggest deal whenever you're doing super speedway racing. Managing your risk, getting yourself in a good position, getting yourself around very like-minded drivers who want to make it to the end of the 54 laps, and they don't want to be out here in the first few minutes of it. And I feel like that's just really what the majority of these drivers need to keep in mind, is that, yes, it is a 54-lap race. We're currently working lap 19. We're going to go back to lap 20 whenever we go back to green flag racing here. So they just need to remember that they still got a long race underneath them, nearly 34 more laps. So they need to try to keep it clean if they want these long green flag runs, which is, I think, for the majority of the drivers, what they want to see.
35 laps to go when they come back to the start-finish line and take the green flag. We will go back to racing here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Your biggest gain of this race, it is your current leader, Lawrence Shaughnessy, gaining 25 spots since the drop of the green flag. An insane amount of spots, and he will go green as your leader, with Blake Trawick in second. In third, Nathan Rabideau. Fourth, Jalen Battle. And rounding out your top 5, it will be Tyler Fode in the 40 car. And they'll make their way through turns number 4. A lot of cars still left on the lead lap and in this pack. A couple of them with a little bit of damage, but a stop on pit road is all they needed to get their cars repaired, as each of our drivers are equipped with 1 fast repair, so they were able to get a fresh car. If they were in that last caution, we still got a full pack of race cars hungry to go back racing. They're heading through the tri-oval. The 3 will take the green flag, and we are back racing here at Talladega.
So green flag in the air then, and the 3 car will lead him off, but he had quite a big gap back to what I think was the 16 on the inside row. So the 16 leaving a gap, maybe trying for that really big shove off of turns 3 and 4.
Everybody hopping up to that outside line. It is more formed than the inside line right now. Can they get a run down the back straightaway? The 56 looking for the lead. He's got a lot of help from the 93. The 56 will clear that inside line. The 93 still on the back bumper shoving, and the 56 will stay on the outside line, so the 93 does not get left out.
Yeah, I'm not even sure that wasn't just more of a block, because the 93 did have a bit of help there from the 36 behind him. So I think that what really just happened there was the 56 didn't want to get left on the inside line because, I mean, they weren't really formed up, but it looks to me like they've just gotten themselves really figured out as they work through 3 and 4. The 16 car now forces it 3 wide, nearly there, pushes the 56 almost into the outside wall.
The 16 wanted a gap that was not there. He pushed the 56 up to the wall. That 56 car, Blake Trawick, is now going to fall right back to the back, but he might have some help from the 24 as 3 cars hop up from the outside to the inside as the 16 of Jalen Battle with help from Fody on the outside looking for the lead. Battle will get it. Fody now looking to clear that inside line, and he will with the 16.
So the 16 of Jalen Battle will go to your race lead. And it'll be Tyler Fody in second. Joni Brugg will go into the 3rd position. So that leaves the 3 car down in 4th. And the 42, who is his help, is down in 5th spot now. So the top line now pretty much just moved to the bottom line. But now it is the we have the 3 car now actually heading back to the top line here. He's trying to spearhead this line.
The inside line definitely looking more formed now than it was at the beginning of this race. At the beginning of this run after the restart, but that outside line trying to make something happen. They are bumper to bumper with the 93 now on the back of the 3 car, but they have about 5 cars now that have cleared them on the inside line. So this inside is pulling away. It is dominant, and those top 3 cars are arguably your 3 fastest of the race right now.
Yeah, right now those top 3 cars really are just very, very quick. And it's all being led by Jalen Battle. We're currently working lap 23 of 54, so we still have quite a bit of time left in this race. We're going to 30 laps to go here. Next time by the stripe. So these guys still have a lot of side-by-side racing left to do.
Yeah, and they're kind of calming it down for right now, but that outside line gets a little bit of a run now side-by-side with the 42 right at that quarter panel. They're trying to get side-by-side with the leaders once again. We saw a lot of 2x2 and 3x3 racing earlier, but after this last caution and a wreck that took out about a quarter of the field, they had to go in and use their 1 fast repair. Everybody calming down a little bit as you are on board with Tyler Dixon looking back at that racer. He is trying to keep his car clean and safe. He's in that 79 car, sits in 8th place.
He sits in 8th place there, and you can see the 3 now gets the run. He's got the help, but there's 1 car down, and there's a few cars wrecking behind.
Wrecking in the back now, and we do have a caution. A couple of them came up on the racetrack. Who was taken out there? Taking a look at the replay. Somebody went all the way down, and it seemed like almost a chain reaction from there. The 91 went spinning.
Yeah, it was the 91 who I think was actually the victim in all of that. And I'm trying to figure out who was the other car involved there on the outside. It looks to me like
43?
It looks like the 43. Yes, it was the 43 car.
Oh, the 90!
And then the 91 comes back up into traffic there, which I think is what inevitably caused the caution flag. So we have the second caution here on lap 25 here from Talladega.
Your pole sitter, Tony Edmondson in the 43, is now down in pit road. He is going to use his 1 fast repair, still has it available. He is going to use it, get back on the racetrack, but such a fast car now taken out in a wreck, and that just shows, especially for these drivers that don't have their 1 fast repair remaining, they really need to keep it safe, because one moment you could be leading the race, the next you could be spinning in the wall.
Yeah, you really could be. I mean, that is, like I said, it's risk management you have to be dealing with here. Yes, it may be a good idea to sit behind somebody, but is it the greatest idea in the long run for you? That's what you really just have to worry about here, is just risk management. You're back with more of the drivers who may have had incidents early on in this race. You're back with the drivers who are a little bit more unpredictable whenever you go to the back of the field. So you really just need to find like-minded drivers that want to keep the car clean and get the car to the end, because I think that's what we're seeing today has been avoidable incidents.
A lot of cars making their way back down pit road. Mainly, it looks like a lot of them taking fuel only. The 16 fuel only, the 40 fuel only, the 56 will stay out on this caution. The 4 car will make his way out of pit road in 3rd place. Almost all of them going fuel only. I don't believe we had anybody take tires on these pit stops. Everybody just making sure they are good to the end on Sunoco fuel, and they'll merge back into the pacing line. And we will go back to racing in just a couple of laps as we near halfway done with this race. We are on lap 26 of 54.
Yeah, lap 26 of 54. That's what we're working thus far. So we still have a good majority of this race left to go. We're certainly not anywhere near the end of it by any stretch. So, but to only have 2 cautions isn't that bad. I mean, I've definitely seen a whole lot more cautions in the first 26 laps of a Talladega race. So the fact that we've gone 26 laps and only had 2 cautions, that's pretty good.
And we have had some very exciting racing, and that makes me excited for the end of this race, because we know, especially at Talladega, everybody saves all they've got for the end of the race. So we might see some crazy battles for the lead later on in the race, but in the lead, it's Killian Babusin in the 85 car. He has not come down pit road, stayed out on this caution. William Kruzka sits in 2nd in the 6 car. He now will fall back. He's stopped on the apron. Wondering what's happening with that 6. Listening into the driver's voice channel. Not exactly sure what happened with the 6 there, but he will catch up and regain his spot. Very interesting of what happening with the 6 car right now. I'm not sure. Was he maybe having some
He can't get that.
problems?
Yeah, he's got some problems. He can't get that car over 6,000 RPM. It did not sound healthy. Let's just say that. That 6 car does not sound healthy. I'm not sure what's going on with it. He may have severely damaged that engine.
We'll see what happens. Still out on the racetrack. Did not bring it down pit road. Wondering what the problem will be with that 6 car. And you can see that's Sim Racers for Mental Health paint scheme on it with the epilepsy awareness on the side of that machine. That is who is being represented here in the All-Star event for Sim Racers for Mental Health. It is the epilepsy awareness. These Sim Racers for Mental Health guys do a lot of races per year for many different charities, raising awareness for many different mental health illnesses. So epilepsy is the one they are representing here, and that beautiful green and purple paint scheme on the 6 car. We're hoping to see that up front a little bit more, but we'll have to see what exactly is going on with that engine. As we are 2 laps to green, the 85 leads the way. He stayed out on this pit stop along with the 45 of Steven Sims. Jalen Battle is the first one that pitted. So your top 3 all stayed out on this caution. Everybody back from there made their way into pit road for some fuel, and a couple of them, only about a handful of them, you can count them on one hand, taking some tires under this pit stop.
You're certainly right, Josh, and we should be seeing 1 to go next time by here. In this here for this pace car. We should see lights out in the pace car. I was just trying to say there. And we will get back to racing here from Talladega. We're currently working. Whenever we go back racing, we should be starting lap 29 out of 54. So we'll be at 25 laps to go. 26 laps to go, sorry. Once we get that green flag in the air, and we'll be just over halfway.
And this race definitely starting to get a little bit more interesting. We saw that early wreck. It calmed everybody down, but we also saw some great racing after that last restart. Even though it wasn't 3 wide deep in the pack, still a lot of moving around, a lot of dicing for positions. And I believe we're going to see a lot more of that as they'll come across the stripe, and we will be officially halfway completed in this race. As the 85 leads the way, that pace car will turn off their lights, and we will go back to racing next time by that start-finish line.
Yeah, like you said, we'll go back to racing here from Talladega. It's going to be a very exciting last half of this race. 3 cautions so far in the first half. Let's see if we repeat the same in the second half or if we get a little bit less than that. But I'm not so sure about that going down to maybe the final 3 laps here in this race. I wouldn't be surprised if we at least see 1 attempt at a green-white checkered.
It is definitely very popular of Talladega to have wrecks very late in the race. I believe Shades of Larry McReynolds, the past around 10 Talladega races in the NASCAR Cup Series have ended, about like maybe 8 of them have ended in a green-white checkered finish in NASCAR overtime. So we'll see if we end up going over the scheduled distance here in the Sim Racers for Mental Health All-Star Event. But it is Talladega. Nobody knows what will happen until it happens. The field 2x2 down the Talladega super stretch, and we will go back to racing once that pace car makes its way back into pit lane.
Yeah, we'll go back to racing, like you said, as soon as the pace car is down and on to pit road here. And we just wait as it goes down the back straightaway now.
Remember, those top 3 stayed out on this caution. They did not make their way down pit road. We'll see how that affects their speed. We saw in the last restart that the worn tires don't necessarily affect the speed of your race car, but it affects the effectiveness of your steering and your handling, able to make those quick moves. So I think the 16 of Jalen Battle, he came down pit road on the last caution. I think he is going to be the main driver to make a little bit of a run for the lead, and we've seen Jalen Battle up front this entire race. We'll see what he'll do as the field makes their way through turn 4 and back onto the front straightaway here at the Talladega Superspeedway. The pace car will duck onto the apron. It'll make its way into the safety of pit road, and the 85 will have control of the field as he makes his way through the Talladega Superspeedway tri-oval down to the start-finish line that is uniquely placed past the tri-oval towards turn number 1. So a lot of waiting and waiting and waiting for that green flag, but eventually it'll go into the air and wave, and they are back racing here at Talladega. The 85 with a good jump, the 16 on the back end of the 6. They are even across the start-finish line.
Yeah, not a good jump there from your pole sitter. The 16 of Jalen Battle gave that 6 an amazing shove, but now the 16 car, or now the 6, sorry, is down low here and already defending here from the 85, but it will be Jalen Battle who will take the race lead, and Tyler Fote is on the outside on his rear bumper.
The 85 went from the lead to the middle of the line now, getting shuffled back. He'll fall all the way back to 6 as the 40 car now back on the back bumper of the 16 of Jalen Battle as they make their way back to the front straightaway. We are 3 wide with the 56 getting shuffled back again as the 85 continues to fall down the 4, trying to find any way he can to get around.
And like you said, the 56 getting shuffled back. The top line now completely disappearing pretty much. The only driver really who's in that whole, I would say, area of the outside is at least outside the top 10, so the top line pretty much non-existent, but the top 4 are already starting to break away here from Steven Sims of the 45. So it's Battle Fote, Lawrence, and William Krusha. That will be your top 4 right now, and then they have about a 10th back to Steven Sims in the 45 car, but the 45, with help from the 42, is able to close that gap right back up. Now we have a 10-car battle for the race lead.
The 3 car hops up to the outside line. The 6 went with them. It looks like the 3 had some intentions of getting back to the inside, but he'll stay up there with the 6. 2 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1s shoving up on the top of the racetrack. But everybody, you can see it from this wide-angle shot. A lot of them single file down on the bottom of the racetrack, just logging laps, waiting for their moment to pounce.
And you can hear the 6 car pushing that 3. Those guys are trying to go to the race lead. They got the 42, or the 93, or 98 coming up behind them now and with a run. So the top line starting to get formed up again. They may have an opportunity here to go towards the race lead as they head through the tri-oval now and in towards turns 1 and 2. We'll click over to lap 32 in this event, and they will still stay 2 by 2.
They definitely are getting a lot more aggressive now as those lines from the back caught up. They had nowhere to go, so they decided we'll head up to the middle line. That is the outside line in this 2x2 pack up here at the front of the pack. And on the outside, the 3 leads the way. Jalen Battle in the 16. On the inside, we've seen Battle lead a lot of laps today, but we have not seen the 3 up front under green flag circumstances except for 1 restart, and he wants the lead with help from the 6.
And the 3 car will take it here from Jalen Battle. So it'll be the 3 car who will go to the race lead here, but he may be short-lived because Battle on the inside able to get back up into the race lead.
But it was a good run from the 3, the 6 car, all over the back bumper of the 3. 2 Chevy Camaro ZL1s shoving down the Talladega super stretch, but they won't clear the 16 through turns 3 and 4. They are still side by side for the race lead.
Still side by side as they work off of 3 and 4 here and down through the tri-oval here at Talladega. The 3 did clear the 16.
Cleared.
So now it's the 6 spearing that top line. The 16 all over the rear bumper of the 3 here. But it's the 6 who will now lead the top line with help from the 98. They may now have an opportunity to take over the race lead once again.
That 3 car leading on the inside. All you got to do when you're leading that inside line, put those left side tires on the double yellow line and turn. And that is exactly what the 3 is doing, not worrying much about Jalen Battle behind him as the entire field 2 by 2 here at Talladega. The 6 car with help from the 98 of Presley Sora on the outside. This is the first time we've seen the 98 up here at the front of the pack.
Yeah, the 98 making a nice run. He's come from 7th. He started 7th, but there we go. It's the 6 now up into 2nd spot. He's getting a very nice shove here from the 98. Takes over the race lead momentarily, but it went back to the 3 pretty much immediately. Now the 6 side by side with the 16. They'll try to side draft maybe down the back straightaway. It doesn't look like he's too...
Oh, the 56, the 4 collide. The 71 down into the grass.
And there will be another caution.
Multiple cars spin on the back straightaway. The 4 looks like he collided with, is that the 17? No, I
think he hit the 56. So the 56 and the 4 make contact. That sends everyone spinning. And then there is the big one there on the back straightaway here on lap 35. We'll get our 4th caution of the event.
And that was the 07 car spinning down towards the inside wall. And he ended up, I don't think he got that much damage, just the damage ricocheting off of the 4 car. But this is caution number 3 as it comes inside 20 laps to go here at Talladega. 19 laps precisely remaining here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Your leader is Lauren Shaughnessy. In 2nd, Jalen Battle. 3rd, Tyler Fody. 4th, William Kruska, and rounding out your top 5 is Presley Sora. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on Apex Racing TV, and we'll be back with the results from the pit stops, and we'll get you set up as we go back to racing here at Talladega. Don't go anywhere.
That's right.
Welcome back to the Talladega Superspeedway here for the Sim Racers for Mental Health All-Star Event. I am your host, Joshua Lee. Joining me is Tyler Maxson. We are continuing the race here at Talladega. We currently are 37 laps into a 54-lap race. Still inside of 20 laps to go, nearing about 15 to go. As currently leading the way is Lawrence Shaughnessy, Jalen Battle in second. Third is William Kruzka. Fourth is Tyler Fode. And rounding out your top five is Presley Sora. And Tyler, this has been an interesting race so far. Nobody came down pit road on this caution. So is everybody good to the end on fuel, or do you think they're going to need a little bit of saving under this caution? We've seen the 6 and a couple other cars down in the apron, possibly trying to save a little bit of fuel.
Yeah, possibly trying to save a little bit of fuel. But like you said, we didn't see anyone really from the front come into the pit lane that time. But some of the drivers that are interesting to me here, we'll pull up the pit stops here. So the leader in the 3 car has only come down to pit road 1 time. The 6 also only down at 1 time. And the 85 as well has only come down to pit road 1 time. Everyone else has come down at minimum twice. So I'm not so sure if they're going to be safe on fuel or if they're betting on another caution here in the latter stage of this race where everybody comes down on pit road, or at least a few more cautions, so that they can really save the amount of fuel that they'll need to get the car to the end.
Worried about the fuel. I'm also worried about those tires. Old tires here at Talladega. Don't normally talk about worn tires on super speedways, but they do happen, and it affects the handling of each of these race cars, and it could possibly make them spin out while trying to make a move for the win, or something worse. Maybe trying to make a move in the middle of the pack, just moving up a lane, gets a little loose, and they end up going around in front of the pack. So it'll be interesting on how these drivers are on tires as well, as these drivers make their way down the back straightaway. 2 laps remaining until we go back to racing. They'll make their way back around on the lap 39. We'll have 1 to go to the green flag. Once they go back to racing, we will have 15 laps remaining. Only a Carbs Cup worth of distance we will have remaining in this race.
Yeah, we will not have all that much space or all that much time left in this race. You can see the safety car lights are still on, so we will at least have this lap and 1 more, that the drivers can get themselves all sorted out and get ready to go back to racing. So we have, like you said, 15 laps to go, I believe, when we go back to green flag racing. So if you're a driver right now, how are you kind of mentally prepping for this? Because obviously you don't have a whole lot of time left, but you also don't want to make any overly aggressive moves and cause yourself to have any more wrecks here this close to the finish.
I mean, with only 15 green laps remaining, I feel like all you can do is just try and put your car in the best position that you think it can be to win the race. That doesn't mean make some crazy 3-wide moves. It just means keep your nose clean, be very safe while you're racing in the pack so you can march your way up to the front. We've seen a lot of switching and changing of the lines during this race. We've seen cars go from the end of a line to the front of a line very quickly under a green flag run. And with only a handful of laps remaining, you just need to make sure that you are going forward instead of backward in this pack. But they'll come across the start-finish line. That iRacing.com pace car will turn its lights off. We are going back to racing as when they come back around to the start-finish line.
Yeah, we will be going back to green flag racing here. 15 laps will still remain when we do so. And it will be the 3 car who will lead the field down. It'll be the 16 on the outside of him. And that will be your front row coming down to the green. Now, the 16 got an incredible launch last time on the last restart. Now, he doesn't have the advantage of fresh tires anymore. So I'll be interested to see if he gets a nice run here on the 3 once the green flag comes back out.
Down the back straightaway. The field 2x2, you can see the 40 warming up those tires. It was fairly cloudy throughout the entire caution period, but as the sun comes back out, The track gonna heat back up. These tires undoubtedly pretty cold from the overcast conditions during that caution. So everybody getting their tires a little warmed up. The 6 swerving back and forth on the inside line. We've seen the 6 give some good shoves to the 3, and I think that'll be no different when they go back to racing with the field through turn number 3. Just awaiting the green flag of this race when we'll go back to racing. Believe we have around 30 cars in this group, and they are all itching and raring to go back racing.
They're all ready to go back racing here. Like you said, 27 cars are in our group here as we get ready to go back racing. Here from Talladega, we'll be at 15 laps to go, and it will be an exciting 15 final laps, and the field will get ready to round off 3 and 4. The iRacing.com pace car will dive down to pit lane, and the field will be in the hands of the 3 car here on this restart.
We're hearing from the stream chat here on Apex Racing TV that 11 is going to come to the front. That is Nathan Armstrong. He's sitting back in 20th. He doesn't have much time to make his way to the front. Let's see if he'll get there. 15 laps to go. We are back racing at Dega.
And there we go. The field goes back to the green. Very nice jump from the 3.
The inside line is not very formed up right now. That outside line also very straggled. It seems like this entire front pack is very spread out. They need to make sure they get organized so they can have the most amount of speed they can, but they're coming off at turn number 2. That back pack looking very organized, with the front pack straggling, trying to get formed up.
And the front pack not having the greatest of getaways there as far as getting packed up here. You can see 3 wide in the background, nearly 4 wide there momentarily here as we head through 3 and 4. We're currently on lap 40 of 54, so as we come down, it'll be 14 laps to go. This time by from Talladega. They're all getting situated here on the bottom line in the second group, but this first group, it's still 2 by 2, 4 rows back here, but the bottom line is very formed up. It's got about 6 or 7 cars there, all pushing and shoving.
Now the 6 car getting a little bit on the apron. He's going to need to keep it off of that yellow line. Car got a little bit squirrely. He was able to keep it on. All 4 Goodyear tires there, but we are now around 14 laps to go. That outside line with a huge shove. The 40 clears the 3, and the 16 now out in front. Jalen Battle finds his way back to the point at Talladega with that inside line, trying to fight back.
Yeah, the 3 car is heading that inside line, and he's doing a good job of it. He's getting a nice shove from the 6 behind him, and they're starting to come back at this, but the 40 car is locked to the rear bumper of the 16, and they still stay in the race lead. The 40 now going to be on the outs. They're going to be spearing the outside line as the 16 car drops down. It goes for the block on the 3.
Battle pulled down to that inside line, left the 40 out to dry, but now the 45 is Steven Sims on his back bumper. Fody looking for the lead. He is side by side with Battle as they head into 3.
So side by side for the race lead here in Talladega. It's Jalen Battle who currently leads your field out. He's getting help from the 3 car just behind him. The 40 is leading that top line, being helped by the 45. So the majority of the drivers, though, this is another big story. The majority of the drivers that are in your top 5 right now didn't start here. They started very, very deep in the field.
The 3 car marching his way up 24 spots now as he takes over P number 2. He started all the way back in 26th. He is now in 2nd, battling for the race lead. On the back bumper, Jalen Battle looks to the inside, nowhere to go there. He makes his way back behind the 16, just trying to keep that engine a little cool as they make their way back through turn number 3. That inside line very formed up, the outside line as well. We've got a race here at Dega as they head through 4.
And it's the 16 being helped by the 3, being helped by the 6. But the 40 is very strong on the outside line with help from the 45. And I believe that is the 93 as well, helping up top. So everybody's really, really tight and confined here. We have one driver trying to make it 3 wide in the background. No help for him, though.
Fody been dominant this race along with Battle. Side by side with the 2 of them. 1 car looking 3 wide. He'll make his way back into this outside line. That was the car in the very back of this pack, the 54 of Tom Bourne. But the 16 continues to lead the way. The 40 has not been able to clear him yet. The 45 not on the back bumper. He'll get back to it. But it seemed like the 40 was a better pusher than he is a leader on the outside line.
Yeah, he definitely seemed like a better pusher than a leader here. He doesn't really have the car to lead, but as I say that, the 40 will take over the race lead momentarily. The 45 with a nice run, able to push the 40 very nicely there, and the 40 will remain ahead as they work their way through 1 and 2. But the 16 now comes back with help from the 3, and he takes over the race lead. And we're going to continue to swap it all the way down the backstretch here at Talladega.
Under 10 laps to go now, and when they come across the stripe this time, it'll be 9 to go here at the Sim Racers for Mental Health All-Star Event here at Talladega. We are side by side with the lead between the 16 and the 40. Everybody dicing for positions on there.
Everyone dicing for positions, but crucially, everyone has kept it clean thus far. We haven't had anyone making any sort of desperate moves yet in this race. Now, we are now at 9 laps to go, or 8 laps to go, I believe, this time by. So we have still a decent amount of laps left to go as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing maybe 3 and 4 wide come the final 2.
3 car jumps up to the outside line, now with help from the 40 car of Tyler Fody. The 3 looking to make his way back up to the front of the pack, and he will. He'll clear the 16 by a nose. Can he completely clear him? Yes, he will. The 3 car now to the point here at Talladega. Like we said, the 40 a better pusher than he is a leader. The 40 can get cars up to the front, but he can't get himself there. He leads others to the treasure he cannot possess. Now the 16 hops up to the outside line for some help.
And they will get some help from the 40 car. They will easily clear the 3 there on the bottom line. Now, will they jump down low, or will they try to tow Steven Sims with them? The 40 car has completely lost his opportunity to do that. The 16 will pull down low to block, and now it will be the 40, but the 16 is turned.
The 16 around, he hits the inside wall. One of the most dominant cars all day is now spinning here at Talladega. He came down to block the 3, and the 3 just got a little bit too close on his back bumper, and around goes Battle.
He just didn't hit him square enough there, and Battle now down to the apron. We stay green flag racing, though. Unfortunate, though, for Battle. I mean, he was so quick here in this race. He was the car to beat.
But now the 40 car of Tyler Fody on the inside line. He leads the way, I believe, for one of the first times today with Steven Sims. The 45 in tow, the 3 car of Lawrence Shaughnessy back up to the top of the racetrack. He's trying to make something happen on that outside line. They'll come across the stripe this time with 6 to go.
Yeah, they'll come across the stripe, 6 to go. This time by, actually, sorry, we'll be at 5 to go this time by. Oh, no, sorry, 6 to go, you're right. 6 to go this time by the 45, trying to make it work here on the outside line. We'll see if the 3 car is able to do anything with him. The 6 is now in line with the 40 on the bottom, but it's Foti to the race lead, or leading the pack out now, and then they will have help from the 6. The 3 is helping the 45 up top, but the top line not able to do anything. They're not able to stay in line long enough here. The bottom line just a little bit more put together.
Yeah, and Tyler Fody was able to get back out in front, but you can see, oh, the 45 gets turned! The 40 involved in front of the field! Everybody involved, the second big one comes out with 6 to go!
6 laps to go, and the second big wreck of the event has happened here. We'll watch it on the replay here. You can see the 45 down into the 40, and then it all kicks off from there. The 6 was involved as well. Not many people able to make it through, but some of the notable names able to make it through. The 3 car, he stayed out of trouble this entire race. He is really the only of your big name runners who has made it through that one.
But that is the second time that the 3 car has spun a driver around this race. We saw him spin the 16 down to the inside wall, and now we see him cause the second big one of the race. We can bet a lot of these drivers not happy with Lawrence Shaughnessy right now, but he continues to lead this race. Pressler Sora will make his way into P number 2 with Kevin Kittleman in 3rd, Johnny Brugg in 4th, and Elon Gassard. We haven't talked about him all race. He is now up in P number 5 at Talladega, but who is going to pit here on this caution? We've got 5 laps to go. Who's making their way into pit road?
I don't think anyone is. I think everyone, unless you have damage, is going to stay out here on this final 5 laps to go. Now, when we come back for this green flag, it may be just a 1 or 2 lap run to the green. We may be getting a green-white checkered here in Talladega. Now, I don't know exactly how many attempts we get at this, but I would imagine we only get 1 or 2, so the drivers definitely need to make this count.
That is all that counts, is making sure they do not run out of green, white, checkered finishes. We will go over the scheduled distance if we need to. But right now, nobody making their way down pit road. Not sure if it is 3 to green or 2 to green. We'll have to see when they come around next time by if those lights come off of that iRacing.com pace car. If the lights go out on the pace car next time by, then that means that we will go green flag racing with 2 to go. If they stay on, we will have a green-white checker, 2 laps remaining, and we will go 1 lap over the scheduled distance here at Talladega. But an interesting finish this has played out to be. The 95, your lucky dog, he'll head around the field, grab 1 lap back. But, I mean, right now, you gotta admit, there's a lot of drivers that are pretty upset with that 3 car right now.
You would imagine a lot of the drivers would be very, very upset with him at this current moment in time. But with that car getting the lucky dog, that would make me believe that we're already at 2 laps to go, and we're going to be getting 1 to go here next time by, and the lights will be coming out on that pace car.
We'll have to see what happens this time by at the start-finish line. But we've seen those dominant drivers of the race. They are now all either sitting in pit road or at the end of this line. Jalen Battle, very dominant all day. He's down in P18. The 40 of Tyler Fode, P20, losing 14 and 18 spots since the start of this race, respectively. They both started up front. They now find themselves in the bottom half of this pack. Can they make it up in a couple laps? I think they're at least going to need a couple more cautions to march their way back up through the field. But the 3 of Lawrence Shaughnessy gaining 25 spots since the start of this race. He leads the way. But in 5th place, that is Elon Gassard. He in the 18 car has gained 26 spots. We haven't talked about him once today except for the starting grid. And he is now up in the top 5.
Yeah, so a lot of drivers really moving up a lot of spots here after that few big wrecks. And like you said, for some of those drivers that were just involved in those incidents, this is not what they needed, and this is also going to be very difficult for them because I don't think we're going to be getting many more cautions. I think we're only going to be getting maybe another caution. Now, this will be the biggest teller here, is are we going to see lights out on the pace car this time by? I don't think we are, so we are going to go to overtime here from Talladega.
We will go 1 lap over the scheduled distance as they are now 2 laps to green here at Talladega. They'll take 1 to go on lap 53, and they'll take the green flag on lap 54, the scheduled end of this motor race. But they'll go 1 lap over to lap 55. That is when they will take the white flag, and on at the end of lap 55, they will take that checkered flag. But if we get another caution, we'll go even further over the scheduled distance than we are right now. Not sure exactly how many attempts we have, but if it's anything like NASCAR off of the sim, it'll be unlimited attempts until we get a finish. So we could be here for a while as that poor merge cone from coming out of pit road gets knocked its way into the track, but it's right on its home. So it was a tragedy there for a few seconds for that pit cone, but right back on where it belongs.
Yeah, right back to where it belongs, but do keep in mind, everyone, cone lives do matter. And I think that is one of the most forgotten things in the world of iRacing, is that cone lives matter too. And we should be very thoughtful to the cones that we are throwing onto the track. Back to the actual race itself, though. We're going through 3 and 4. Hopefully, we see lights out on the pace car next time by, and we'll get the one to go to green.
And that 3 car out in front, we've seen him do pretty well leading all day. We haven't really seen the 98 up here. He'll be leading the outside line when we go back to racing. Is it possible that he is a better leader than the 3? Because we've seen sort of a mix of drivers that are better pushers than they are leaders, and better leaders than they are pushers. The 3 is definitely one of those better leaders. It is going to be interesting to see what happens on this restart, but they'll come through the tri-oval, and we should be able to see the lights go out on that iRacing.com pace car, and we'll go back to racing for a green-white checkered here at Talladega.
Yeah, we'll go back to green-white checkered. One of the most exciting finishes you will see. We've already seen a ton of action with the drivers tonight. They've already been absolutely crazy here, and the lights are out on the iRacing pace car. We will go green-white checkered here to the finish. The 3 car will lead them down. The 98 will lead the top line, and this is going to be the biggest telltale here, I think, is how they get off the starting line. If they don't get off the starting line good, it's going to be a tough last couple laps for these guys.
The 4 car of Johnny Brugg, we've seen him up front a lot today. He has not been in a leading position yet. We'll see if he can get that Ford Fusion up to the point. We've seen the 49 of Mitchell Adams up front. He has been able to make his way to the front. He has not been able to lead just yet. We've also seen the 36 of Nicholas Reese up at the front. We've seen a lot of these drivers be up front for a few moments and then drop back, but now they are up front with 2 laps remaining when they come across the stripe in a green-white checkered. It is all or nothing as they make their way down the Talladega super stretch, and we will go back to racing. The 4 car trying to clean up his tires. The 3 and the 98 will lead each line respectively. We might see that 3rd line creep back up on the outside.
Yeah, we may see the 3rd line start to develop again. I actually wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if we saw that 3rd line again here in Talladega. That is going to be the biggest question mark, though. Are we going to see, first off, are we going to see 3 wide? And if we do, is that 3rd line going to be able to make anything of it? Because we've seen it tried, and every single time it has failed. But if you're a driver that's already a little bit deeper in the field, maybe, or just outside the top 10, it may be worth a shot for you.
The pace car leads this field of 24 onto the front straightaway. It'll duck down into the safety of pit lane. The 3 car and the 98 car control the field. The 3 car creeping to the pit entry. They're going super slow as they make their way into the tri-oval. Revving up to go back to racing, and the 3 car is gone. We are back green here at Talladega. The 98 hops into the inside line. So does the 4. Everybody hopping down to the inside line, going single file as we have 2 laps to go at Talladega.
Yeah, they're all going to go single file here, but we'll see how long that lasts for. I wouldn't imagine it's going to last for very long. They are a little bit side by side in the background, but for the most part, everyone is spread out. The top 6 currently have stretched away by just about 0.4 of a second over the rest of your field, but it's not going to be enough. They still will get the run. That second group will, if they can get themselves in line. The second line starting to form up in that second group, but the front group right now, all still single file. They're going to try to be making a run here. If you're not the race leader, you'll be trying to make a run on the final lap of the race. As we head through the tri-oval, we'll see white flag in the air this time by.
1 lap to go here at Talladega. Those top 3 cars, all teammates. They all have very similar paint schemes, the same sponsors. They are all racing together. What can this backpack do? Those top 3 single file. Them going 2 wide in the back is not helping anything. They'll now go 3 wide down the back straightaway. But the 98 of Presley Sora all over the back bumper of the 3 as they head into turn number 3 and 4. The 3 car continuing to lead, 3 wide in the back. The 98 all over its back bumper. The 19 on the bumper of the 98. What'll happen on the front straightaway off of turn number 4? Side by side for 4th place. Will the 98 make a move into the tri-oval? To the outside goes the 98. Not able to get there. Your winner of the Sim Racers for Mental Health All-Star Event is the 3 car of Lauren Shaughnessy as carnage ensues past the checkered flag.
Yeah, carnage ensues here as they pass the checkered flag. But what an ending we had to this event. Those drivers were absolutely going at it for the most part on that green-white checkered restart here to cap off your racing here today. But overall, I mean, we had some insane racing. 3 big ones throughout the course of the race, and everybody was able to get through, though, for the most part, and keep that car clean in that green-white checkered, which I was personally very surprised of.
Yeah, definitely a very surprising end to this race. The 3 car was able to hold on throughout that entire green-white checkered, and you can see those 3 cars, Indy Motorsports on the side of them. They are going to do some team burnouts up on the racetrack here at Talladega. Let's take a look at your finishing results of the Sim Racers for Mental Health All-Star Event funding the Epilepsy Foundation. Your winner, Lauren Shaughnessy, the number 3 car, takes the win. In second is Presley Sora. Third, Kevin Kittleman. Fourth, it is Mitchell Adams. 5th, Johnny Brugg. 6th, Blake Treywick. 7th, Ilan Gastard. 8th, Nicholas Reese. 9th, Nathan Armstrong. And rounding out your top 10 is Travis Oliver. And in the 11th place, it's William Kruska. 12th, Joe McAddery. 13th, Rocky Hartpence. 14th, Wesley Fuller. 15th, Steve Rada. 16th, Tyler Fody. 17th, Nathan Rabudo. 18th, Benjamin Fanning. Taking a look down at 19th place, it is Alexander Cognac. And rounding out your top 20, Tyler Dixon. 21st, Lewis Calderon. 22nd, Jamie Dobbs. 23rd, Shane Lake. 24th, Jalen Battle. 25th, Killen Boosin. 26th, JD Bluntman. 27th, Tom Bourne. 28th, Steven Sims. 29th, Alan Wilson III. And then 30th, it is Tony Edmondson. 31st, Chris Reese. 32nd, Jody Banfield. 33rd, Adam Sweet. 34th, Danny Banfield. And rounding out your 35 drivers today is Paul Wilson with those bottom 3 not even taking the green flag at all in this race. We thank you all for joining us here on Apex Racing TV for the Sim Racers for Mental Health All-Star Event for the Epilepsy Foundation here from the Talladega Superspeedway. For Tyler Maxson, I am Joshua Lee, and we hope to see you again here on the Apex Racing TV network, saying goodbye from the Talladega Superspeedway.